As you might have noticed, we are still perfectly okay with the agenda. I would like to appreciate the effort of all the speakers. And now I would like to, at the end of the day, to ask you to join the summary discussion. I think that today we pretty much covered all the options offered by the probiotic technology. We saw products which could be used in the soil, which could be used on the plants, which could be used during composting processes, but also to combat mosquitoes. We'll be able to use this technology to reduce odors, to use in wastewater treatments. This is also a place where we can use that. Water purification, both in rivers and streams, ponds, lakes. Just see how wide the application scope is. We can also use it to enhance human health and also to enhance the health of our pets. The biotechnology, I could offer a slogan for the biotechnology today: SCD probiotics, biodiversity for today and for the future generations, because we are going to create the future for the next generations. I hope some of you will join the discussion and will share their thoughts with us. First, I would like to invite Professor Krasowicz from the National Investigational Institute in Puławy. You would like to be the last one, okay. Well, sorry to call you up, but you were the scientific patron, so I was hoping you would join the discussion.
No to bioróżnorodność dzisiaj.
Biodiversity today and the security in the future. Of course, the whole day was a long day, but maybe some of our foreign guests would like to share something.
Future, we are looking for you for any idea for the future, for the next generation, maybe. I know. Please try. Find one of them and explain us. Yeah, you coming from Norway? Yeah, please come on. I love Scandinavian people, so Norway is one of the most famous country for me.
Yes. Good afternoon. I come from Norway, and Norway we made up a lot of salmon, and we make them in the sea. And many of them, they are running away, so now we are starting a new technology that we maybe produce them on shore until they are 1 kilo. But we have one problem, because the net where the fish are swimming, that is not so deep, and it is a bottom under it. And when we feed the salmon, we have only some minutes before this food are going from the sea top and through the net. And if we feed too much, then the food are going to the bottom. And there we have a problem. And I just wonder if there is any solution for taking care of what there is on the bottom. And the secondary is if there is any solution to give something to the water when we are making the eggs to be fish. And that is what I'm really interested in. And I just tell you, this has been a very wonderful day for me. I am new here. And I feel that I have got a lot of information, maybe too much to take in one day, but I will like to learn more. And I really want to bring back to Scandinavia these things. And I think Scandinavia will be a good place to do new things together with you. So I just thank you for today, and I look forward for tomorrow.
Thank you. A wonderful landscape and fresh water, Scandinavian. Proszę bardzo. Bardzo proszę.
Any other remarks or comments? Feel invited. Matthew, I've got a question to you. We are in this group of people who, based on your license, produce the products we mentioned today. However, from the point of view of physics of the phenomenon, I personally tested some products. I was able to describe some products as good or bad, etc. Do you see any methods for comparing the for comparing the quality of the production, for quality control of the production using electronic microscope, and the methods that would be cost effective at the same time? Because looking at this from the point of view of a technician, it is a solution. So the composition of it makes me possible to define some physical phenomena, makes me able to describe some processes. However, the optimum costs are some problem. How can we then control the quality of our production? Do you see an easy method of quality control using the physical processes in quality assessment?
So yes, we have systems for maintaining quality that are cost effective, mostly around rapid microbial enumeration, and to make sure that the right groups are there in the right populations. And then there are some rapid chemical tests. So hopefully you're attending the licensee-only part of this conference next week, and we can discuss that in much more detail.
But Matthew, I would like to approach the topic as a sign of God. Each matter, either living or non-living matter, is a source of energy, and using this energy potential, we can assess whether the composition is proper or not. This is my idea for the end.
To develop this idea further.
Bardzo proszę. Hello.
Hello, my name is Jan Kułaj. I used to be the first president of Solidarność for Individual Farmers. I fought for Polish village in another form than we see it today, and in a completely different shape than the one suggested by the EU. So I am one of these who watched Sami Swoi and other old Polish movies, so I'm not stupid modern. But coming back to the topic of this meeting, I'm pretty happy about one thing. I mean that we can cure the stupidity of Polish village using microorganisms. Because asking my neighbors why they cancel, why they seize the farms, they told me that without chemicals you cannot have anything. You cannot grow carrots, you cannot grow cucumbers, you cannot grow cherries. Either you use chemicals or you lose. And this chemical factor caused them to stop production because it was unbeneficial for them to have 30 hectares of tomatoes, whatever. And these small And these small gardens were replaced with a pen and a sheet of paper. Everyone applies for a subsidy and buys a lot of chemicals in the market, doing everything as the European Union told us to do. And now I can see that there is a solution for this stupid activity. If we can secure everything using probiotic technology, and I can see a lot of experts here being able to influence the public opinion and to restore those family farms in a form of production for themselves, for their families, for their closest relative. I mean production of the food which is not poisoned with the chemicals and with highly modern fertilizers, etc. And I would like to wish you the very best of success. And as the old fighter for the independence of Polish village, I would like to tell you I'm waiting for the results to come.
Tutaj gwoli wyjaśnienia, tam chodziło o 30
In order to explain, it wasn't about 30 hectares of tomatoes, but it was about 30 tomatoes, so it was about small, very small farms. There is a small problem because intensive farming, intensive agricultural practice requires us to know a lot about chemicals, fertilizers, and means of protection, and also to know the wide range of biological agents. And this basic principle of integrated production provides for the use of the former and the latter, but it is we who decide about the proportion. We can choose basically biological methods who release the nutrients available in the soil in inaccessible forms, and through biological transformation these nutrients will be available to the plants. On the other hand, we have pro-eco. We've got so-called pro-eco farming, pro-eco agriculture. And maybe it is going to be a chance for small farms, because organic farming requires a lot of investment. Investment understood mainly as a labor effort. So production of food using traditional methods compared to conventional foods, organic foods are much more expensive. And the search for optimal methods is important. If we base on biotechnology and combine it with the knowledge already described in the literature, we've got a chance to maintain soil fertility, and we've got a chance to take advantage of the fruitage of this soil, so the entire population will be healthy. Okay, let's continue our discussion.
Pan profesor Krasowicz.
All right, Professor Krasowicz from the National Research Institute in Puławy. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, the first day of our conference, Microorganisms in Restoration of the Environment, is coming to an end. I think this is an important conference, on the one hand, because the honorary patronage was given by the Minister of Agriculture, Marek Sawicki, but also the scientific patronage over our conference is from Wiesław Oleszek, a professor and head of the Institute of Soil Science and Fertilization of the National Research Institute in Puławy. They use the theory of Professor Oczapowski in Marymont. They use the heritage of about 150 years of fertility sciences in Puławy. And also for 60 years, it has been operating as an institute subject to the Minister of Agriculture. This is not marketing for the institute, but I would like to stress the fact that our institute cooperates with the organizers of today's conference. I mean, the Ecosystem Society. And this cooperation has had quite a long history. On the one hand, together under the patronage of the Ministry of Agriculture, we were organizing discussion panels in the ministry, asking, is Poland facing a decrease in soil fertility? And this was an opportunity to present the results of research, to present our opinions. And it was also an opportunity to present the results that were presented also here today. They were presented internationally and quite extensively today. So to take advantage of this opportunity, on behalf of the head of my institute, I would like to thank Mr. Kolbusz, Mr. Gacka for the cooperation so far. And I also hope that our cooperation will continue and will be quite extensive. And on the other hand, we should be able to overthrow this view that science disregards the problems which are encountered in the practice and the feedback from the users. These opinions were presented in the speeches today, and in our institute, I must tell you, we started some research to clarify some issues. What Mr. Kosakowski said, as far as I understood, some issues still need clarification, scientific interpretation, and objective perspective. And I think this is quite an important challenge for science. So why are we talking here about cooperation? Because we have several things in common. One thing is the sustained development concept. That is the development where production, economic, social, and ecological aims come together, and those are the issues which were clearly presented in your presentations, because all the activities is the care to reduce the threat to environment, to enhance human and animal health, generally to improve the quality of life. Our institute is also investigating that, also by limiting the threat to natural environment. And there is also another thing where we can cooperate. This is the soil, which is the basis for operations of farmers. This was also discussed quite extensively today, and our common action should be rationally manage the resources of the agricultural environment, because we should use this environment, but use it wisely, rationally, without posing a threat to the natural environment. So one of the functions of beneficial microorganisms and probiotics, this is support and enhancement. This is the important function. So quite a general remark from me, but I was quite a careful listener today. So if Mr. Kolbusz allows me, I would like to sum up today's conference. In my opinion, the options for using probiotics are extensive. They can be used in agriculture, in plant and animal production. They can be used in households. They can be used in municipal management. They could be used in environment protection, but also human and animal health. And Mr. Morgan was also discussing that. On the other hand, when I look at these issues, we see it is there, and probably it will be the subject of international cooperation in the future. So this is a reflection of the fact that many of the issues are global issues. Those are our common issues, which should be interesting to all people, but of course different solutions will be used in different countries. But this exchange of knowledge, this kind of congress like today, again my appreciation to the organizers of the conference. I think this is a very valuable event, and it is also socially justified and socially necessary. I also realize that many of these issues still need scientific interpretation and analysis, extensive research, objective answers. But on the other hand, the discussion today showed that it is necessary to create a broad and rich platform for cooperation between the men of practice and the scientists to improve the flow of scientific results into the practical aspect, but also it is necessary that the science, to a larger degree than before, will listen to the feedback coming from the people who apply it in practice. Like today, there are some problems which need clarification and explanation. Maybe some of the results will not be verifiable in the future, but those issues from the practical applications are signalized by educated and experienced people who represent a very high level of environmental awareness, and the people for whom shaping the relationship between the natural environment and the mankind, this is a mission which they enhance throughout their activity. And in my opinion, this conference, based on today, but I'm sure it will be confirmed tomorrow, it's also an example of cooperation and actual integration of different groups, but it's also good, well organized, and it's a good work to do it. So on my own behalf and on behalf of my superiors, I would like to appreciate the work of all organizers, supporters, of the presiding colleagues, to our speakers and presenters. Well, I'm not authorized to close the first day of the conference, but I think this was a very fruitful and a necessary day. Thank you for your attention. Ja już zrobię do końca. I think you were trying to close the first day, Professor. That was my feeling. I would also like to thank the interpreters who worked very hard today. And for tomorrow, I would also like to ask the speakers who will present in Polish, please slow down a little bit. Maybe it's also a question to me, because the translators need to hear it, understand it, and then translate it. And at the same time, they need to listen to the next sentences which we are saying. Congratulations on your good job. I hope you're gonna do the same good job tomorrow. Yeah.
Witam Państwa.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arkadiusz Kartus. I'm going to represent the fishing center in Biała-Rawska.
There was a question just before about the animal husbandry, actually fishery in Norway. In our fish farm, we've got basically carp. And the primary principle consists in proper feeding of the fish. And if we use probiotechnology for feeding of fish with whey and other cereals, the sludge is much lower. Carp is a fish that lives near the bottom of the water tank. And the sludge there is very dangerous. And using the microorganisms, the quality of the sludge improved. I mean, it's not aggressive, and it's visible when in autumn we change water. I've been living in Biała-Rawska for 20 years. I remember those ponds being under the ownership of another entity, and the smell, the odor in the autumn was spread out around Biała-Rawska at the distance of 3 kilometers, for example. At the moment, we've got better food usage, and the natural potential of our cereals is better used up. And as I mentioned before, the sludge, so
Wszystkim zacząć od zaszczepiania właśnie pokarmu czy granulatu też. Granulat
And the excrements are lighter in a sense, not as smelly, not dangerous in any way. Thank you so much.
Jest godzina 17:15.
Well, it's 5:15. We are about to end the first day of our conference. Stanisław? The floor is yours now. Thank you very much. I would like to thank you for presiding the sessions in so nice a manner. Tomorrow we see each other at 9 o'clock. And those who have an invitation, on behalf of Matthew Wood and myself, I would like to invite you for a meeting over dinner with the Minister of Agriculture. Thank you so much for today's attendance. See you tomorrow.